Live from the Score Atlanta television studios in North Atlanta, this is Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. I'm your host, Craig Sager. I'll be joined by Najee Wilkins to co-host in the first segment with our Fast Break headlines. Today we are going to recap the basketball state championships. We'll talk about some spring sports coming up. We'll do our BSN weekend recap. We'll also look at our predictions from before the playoffs started and how they were able to come out. We'll see who won between myself, Najee, Max, and Hayden. I'm actually not sure. I think I went 4 for 8. We'll see on the boys' side. But Najee, let's talk about the grand finale from this weekend. A great rematch between Newton and Wheeler. It was a very even matchup, but Wheeler just, I guess, had a little more at the end. What were your takeaways just from how close that game was?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just talks about, obviously, their coach, Barry Browner, and the outstanding job that he did with that group this year, right? When you look at how they were able to space the floor, their best player, Ted Neal, only had 4 points, but he was affecting the game in a multitude of ways, right? Defensively, rebounding the basketball, getting out in transition. And then Marcus Smith, as he's always said, is a really underrated guard. He was really good in that game, continuing to attack, going up against the press, getting into the lane. I thought he was very impressive. And they gave us a thriller. It really was, Craig, the nightcap of an excellent state championship weekend. Like, I really feel like we did not miss on almost any of these games. When I say, like, in terms of the thrill, in terms of the excitement, in terms of how all these teams play hard, and towards the end, I feel like this was probably one of the best state championship weekends we've had in a long time. And I feel like that Wheeler Newton game pretty much capped that off. And shout out to Wheeler, because that was not an easy game. They depended on Coben Landrew and his ability to get to the cup, finish through contact, and Kevin Savage with a couple big buckets late.
Yeah, Kevin Savage was tremendous. I thought was just such a energy provider for Wheeler. And I think you probably remember, like, in that fourth quarter, he had one drive to the lane. The speed was unbelievable. And Newton didn't think they were probably going to attack that quickly. He was just right to the hoop, gave him that comfortable lead. But then Wheeler, I think at one point, they're up by like 10 points at the end of the first quarter. They increased the lead to 13 at one point. Newton's able to claw back right before the half, and then they end up taking a lead, I think, to start the fourth quarter, up by 2 points. So even though they are going to obviously be very disappointed to come up so short, I mean, they could not have been closer to getting that title. I feel like just being able to come back the way they did, take that lead, obviously they're going to be upset by it, but a lot of teams, when they were getting run around the court in that first half, would not have been able to claw themselves back in it.
No, and it talks obviously to the culture that they have there, and it's a team that we've seen. They've obviously had the talent over the past few years. We talk about Stephon Katz, we talk about some of their elite players, but now their ability to be able to get to the game and pretty much darn near win. Just a couple plays down the stretch that they have to clean up, and they could have easily won that game and upset Wheeler. So they're not that far off. Obviously, they're going to lose some of their talent going into next season. No Marcus Smith, no Ted Neal. But that coach now, Coach Browner, knows what it takes in order to win a title now. He knows what he has to do with this group and get them trained every single offseason so they're right back in this position.
Yep, and then Wheeler, of course, is a huge milestone for them, their 10th all-time state title. No one has done, I feel like, more over the last couple decades to just put Georgia high school basketball on the map than them. They've been doing the national showcase longer than any of these other teams. And to win their 10th is a very big deal. It was an absolute thriller. Real quick on the girls' side, Newton getting the big upset over Grayson. Obviously, Grayson swept them this season. They swept them the season before that. I mean, Grayson has had their number. And we've seen where a team like gets swept by their rival and then ends up winning the championship. But I mean, Grayson has dominated this. For Newton to finally break through the way they did against Grayson, how big do you think that is just for this rivalry moving into next season?
I mean, it's huge. They're going to obviously return back a lot of the players. Maya Perry was phenomenal in that game. London Smith dropped 23 points. And her ability just to be able to create her own shot and also for her teammates was phenomenal. And they just didn't stop. Like, Grayson kind of hit them first, and then they were relentless. Usually you'll see Grayson pull away with Tatum Brown and Coco Rudolph and put their full stamp on the game, but Newton was just relentless. And I really credit it. I tried to get them in a Corky Kell. Obviously, they had something happen where they were unable to, get in our event, but this team is battle tested. Go look at their schedule. They schedule some very tough opponents. Their coach Jawan Bailey's doing a phenomenal job. His brothers over there at Josie, and they know how to win. And I think it's just that revenge aspect. It's hard to beat a team 3-4 times. Like I said, they were 0-3, but to beat that team a fourth time that has the camaraderie, they know what you like to do, your tendencies, your weaknesses. And I feel like Newton knew what to do and how to beat Grayson in that one.
Yeah, and then what a story for London Smith, coming off the injuries this season, still young, just her breakout moment. I mean, she is going to be a superstar, and what a historic title. But that's it. We'll have more basketball coverage coming up pretty much all week long. Tomorrow, for sure, a big one. But let's go ahead and get into our Fast Break headlines. We'll start off with the game we were talking about. Wheeler basketball holds off Newton to claim 10th title. This was the grand finale of the weekend, the 17th game in Macon. Colvin Landry scored 10 of his team-high 21 points in the final 3.5 minutes of the game to help Wheeler defeat Newton. Some quotes from Coach Thompson after the game. He says, "The simple fact that the last time we were here, my mother had an illness and passed out in the tunnel, and that was the last state championship game she was ever able to see me coach. These guys have been nothing but great, but man, I've had to overcome a lot with emotion thinking about my mom," and this was what he was telling John Nelson afterwards, just how much it meant to him, how she had been at all his games over the years. He also says, "Kudos to Newton. Those boys came out and played hard today. We had to dig deeper and just find a little more toughness. We were playing a little scared. We were scared to make mistakes instead of going out to win the game like they did in that fourth quarter." All right, let's go to headline 2 real quick. Big milestone in baseball. We will have our Week 5 baseball rankings posted at scoreatl.com later today, and then he will be joining the show tomorrow, so tune in. This is Shane Amos, Walton's longtime baseball coach, gets his 500th career win. I think the coolest part about this story, when he was approaching that 400 win milestone, he was sitting at 399 wins in 2020 during that COVID year, and they canceled the season right when he was at 399. They had to wait pretty much a calendar year for him to get that 400th win. This time it just took 4 days for him to go to 499 to 500. Walton is cruising this season. They had a big win over North Cobb to sweep that series. They got Etowah coming up, and then a big one with North Paulding, I believe, this week, as Amos pursued that 400 win. That was his 21st season at the school. He's now been there 25 seasons with 500 wins already. That is a 20 win per season average. So much consistency, and I'm excited to talk to him not only about this milestone, but also Walton's incredible new baseball park that opened last season. All right, let's go to headline 3 real quick. The trophy stays in Bogart as North Oconee boys win back-to-back titles. This is a story we're revisiting. Happened late last week, Thursday night. Just wanted to talk a little bit about this. The North Oconee winning back-to-back, it's just absolutely impressive. So they won the year before against Holy Innocents, who we saw win the state title this year. And then they beat an unbelievable Pace Academy team 60-51. And then in both of these championships, Justin Wise has emerged as an MVP. He did it as a freshman last year, a sophomore this year, dropping 30 points. Coach Rasmussen said afterwards, a lot of people doubted us. A lot of people said we were going to lose by 15, 20, even 40 points, all kinds of junk. We never believed any of it. People said we didn't have a hard enough schedule, but we've now played 13 ranked teams. People doubted us and added fuel to the fire. So let's just say the moral of this year is do not underestimate North Oconee.
Yeah, I mean, they got a phenomenal coach, Greg. I mean, I was having a conversation the other day, and I think it's time to put him probably in the top 10, top 5 conversation as far as coaches. I mean, you go against the great Sharman White, and you're able to pull out a victory. That says a lot about, the coaching acumen that he has. And obviously his players played great. Kamari Brooks nearly had a double-double in that one. And I just want to give a shout out to Justin Wise. His elite shot making was something special. I mean, that game they were down. Pace Academy had the advantage early, and his ability to be able to create on his own really allowed them to take full control of that game and really be able to get a victory.
Yep, and we'll move on to headline 4, but real quick, we were talking about London Smith of Newton earlier. I just remembered that was apparently her first ever double-double in the championship. Pretty memorable right there.
100%. All right, headline 4, secondary track and field sweep titles at home meet. The girls won the 6-team event with 214 points, well ahead of the second place Johns Creek, who had 113. Berkmar was fourth at 58. Secondary boys won with 177 points. Johns Creek took second with 134. Berkmar was fifth at 47. First place finishers included secondary girls Jada Perrott, triple jump 34 feet 2 inches, and hurdles 100 hurdles 15.67 seconds. Naza Brewer shot put 34.7, and then Whitney Weeks, she had 300 hurdles with 47.02 time, and Jalen Johnson 200 meters, she had 25.70 time in that one. All right, Gwinnett track and field teams excel at Jerry Arnold Invitational. The Hawks, Mill Creek, they scored 102 points to finish the top. The 27-team girls field, while Brookwood finished at runner-up at 67.5. Mountain View fourth with 49. Central Gwinnett fifth at 42. North Gwinnett seventh at 31. And Decula ninth with 27 points. All had top 10 finishes. Mill Creek boys team finished as a runner-up with 50 points to champion Denmark's 58. Shiloh and Mountain View was tied for third in the 2019 boys meet at 49, while North Gwinnett was fifth with 41. Decula sixth with 40.5. And South Gwinnett seventh with 37.
Yep, and what I've noticed so far this track season, the amount of guys I've seen in the 100 meters break that 11-second threshold at this point in the season, it's crazy. I think you saw in this one, it was Trey Walker from Mill Creek, ran a 10.62. We've seen, I think 20 so far. So this is the first year we have a track and field recruiting blog that I'll be doing every 2 weeks. We'll probably increase that a little bit coming forward. You can check that out at scoreatl.com on the different blogs. We got some coverage up there, and we'll be covering these meets as the season progresses. But certainly Gwinnett County is going to be very competitive this year. But don't go anywhere. On the other side, we will be joined by Tony Watkins of Holy Innocents, one of the teams that swept state titles this year. What an unbelievable, unforgettable season for them. We'll be right back on the other side.
Great teams are committed, focused on the details, and work hard to be their best. From practice to games, right down to their gear. Your field is a critical part of the game that allows your athletes to showcase their athletic abilities. Sports Turf is committed to bringing your team innovative sports surfaces with unparalleled performance. You bring the vision. Our team brings it to life.
This makes my dad proud. He went through his whole career as an employee. Now I'm the employer, something he didn't achieve.
We are signatory to IBEW and do IBEW people wherever we go that we feel like they are faster and better than any of our competition.
The advantages of being a signatory contractor is you're trained employees. You have unlimited manpower. It allows me to bid on jobs that I ordinarily would not go after.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Man, you know how to do this? Man, I don't even know. I was flipping burgers last week.
Violation, unsportsmanlike conduct, impersonating a craftsman.
Skilled trade unions are well-trained career pros, not part-timers. Construction is a rewarding and lucrative career with the advancement potential, but you have to do it the right way with the right training. Learn how you can be a pro. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Electrify your career.
All right, welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. We'll waste no time. We'll introduce Tony Watkins from Holy Innocents onto the show. How's it going?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Long time no see.
Doing great. So I want to ask you just first, Holy Innocents is a very special place. I know you guys have put a lot into building this basketball program, athletics across the board. The campus looks great, the facility, the support's there. I mean, how much does it take to build a program that's able to do what you guys did over the last week, winning boys and girls state titles?
Well, we've got amazing families that really invest in our student athletes, and um, like everywhere around the state, it starts with the families, and then we have amazing coaches, and not just our head coaches. Mario and Nicole are fantastic, but they have a dedicated staff that pours into our kids, and but lastly, and really most importantly, to win two state titles is that we have a ton of talent this year. But talent doesn't always make it to that last game, and certainly doesn't always win that last game. The way that these two teams, our girls and our boys, played together through the stretch of the season was incredible. I mean, I watching our boys play. I've asked Mario to send me the assist numbers for this year, just setting records with assists and sharing the ball, and then with our girls, so many kids stepping up and in different roles, may not be scoring, maybe taking a charge, maybe a freshman coming in and getting spot minutes and getting some putbacks. That they all played as one and were pulling in the same direction, and that's what made it a really special week.
And then, I mean, I'm a fan of basketball, obviously. I love growing up watching the NBA. We got March Madness coming up, but high school basketball is just so exciting. What are some of your favorite things just about the sport of high school basketball, and just like being able to get to see these talented young athletes go out there and just have that exciting product?
Well, basketball is a sport that everybody loves to play. And whether you're on our team or not, you could walk out here now that basketball season's over in either one of our gyms and see kids of all ages after school just playing. It's fun. I think my favorite part of watching our teams play and these other teams in the state tournament was the excitement, the joy, and the fun that these kids were having. This was one of the best state tournaments across the board that I've been around in a long time. I if I wasn't there in person, I was tuning in on Zoom, and it was just a special weekend for so many different kids, not just ours.
And then you were talking just about the programs, just the tough competition they faced, obviously in the playoffs, but all season long. Holy Innocents really did a good job, I feel like, of taking advantage of the talent you guys had. You guys put yourselves out there in these big matchups. You guys continued to win them. How big was that just from a program standpoint, being able to schedule such premier matchups throughout the season to continue to test you guys?
I think that's a big piece of it for both our girls and our boys programs. They played a really tough schedule because we had some really nice players that have been, doing their thing since they were younger. I mean, the boys team, they made it to the state finals last year and lost to a really good North Oconee team to come back and test themselves in the regular season against some of the best teams in Georgia, and then played a nice regional schedule. And our girls team made the Elite Eight last year, haven't made the finals since 2020, to get out there and play some of, again, the best teams in Georgia and a nice regional schedule outside of Georgia put us in position to have an opportunity, if we play well, to do what we did. And kudos to our kids and our coaches.
Yeah, and you were talking about some of the tough losses experienced in recent seasons, but being really close to achieving that goal. You had the special talent on both sides this year. Walk us through just what it was like to see the girls win against Hebron Christian, and then the boys coming out with that big lead, just how exciting that was to not only see you guys win, but the way you guys did.
I was really nervous and excited. I used to coach, and I was talking to somebody watching the game. I'm like, man, I don't know if I could still do this. I'm so nervous and excited because we wanted it for those kids so bad. because they had such a great year, and to watch our girls first come beat such a great Hebron team. Coach Azar's one of the best basketball coaches in the history of the sport. Always does a fantastic job. To watch us play our best in that game, watch Haley Swain just play so well, going to Stanford in a big game. That was awesome. And then to watch our guys just come in and just start the game on fire, and just put the pedal to the metal and never look back. It was really special. Winning the last game is special. It's and not winning the last game is special too. Heck, all these teams that made the Elite Eight, Final Four, Finals, special season. But to be able to win 2 state championships on the same day was it's just something I'll never forget, and there's a really good chance that it never happens again. So we're gonna enjoy it.
And then, obviously, you guys will probably have a big celebration at some point to honor these 2 teams. But we also have the McDonald's All-American game coming up. Obviously, Caleb Wilson, Haley Swain will both be representing. That'll be, I think, early April. I mean, how incredible is that going to be, not only just as a rare team that has a player in the boys and girls, but now after they both will be state champions?
It's really a dream come true. And I just keep using the word special and unique because it is special and unique. Tomorrow we'll have an all-school assembly, to recognize the 2 state championship teams, as well as we will present Haley and Caleb with their McDonald's All-American jersey. And then we're going to go to the McDonald's game in Brooklyn. Coach Dixon, Coach Mays, myself, a couple of the assistant coaches, I think, are going to head up that way to support those 2 kids that are really those 2 kids, Haley and Caleb. They represent our school so well, and they're just I can't say enough good things about the 2 of those kids as students, as athletes, as citizens. They're tier 1, top notch.
Yeah, when I was talking to Coach Dixon last week, I thought it was amazing. She said when she first met Haley, she was already saying that her dream was to play at Stanford as a middle schooler, and I mean, to see everything come true, the hard work pay off, just incredible. Just real quick before you go, talk just about Holy Innocents athletics in general. I mean, what your sense is of how this year's gone and what you're excited for in the spring.
It's been great this year. Holy Innocents Athletics, we want to create an awesome experience for our kids and teach them the values of integrity, hard work, being a great teammate and competing, day in and day out. Love our families, love our coaches. Spring's going really well. Baseball team is off to a hot start. Girls soccer team is off to a great start. Both lacrosse teams got good wins last week. Yes, it's a great time. Spring at HI when the weather gets nice, and it's the only season in town going on right now. It's a good time.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to all of it. Have fun in that celebration and sending them off, and have fun in Brooklyn.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. All right. So there goes Tony Watkins. Once again, that McDonald's All-American game, April 1st in Brooklyn. You will get to see Haley Swain and Caleb Wilson represent the Golden Bears. But we'll be back on the other side to talk to Tim Scott of the GHSA.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Transform your future today. And by Smart Local 85. Sheet metal is a smart move.
Welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. Right now, we'll welcome onto the show Tim Scott of the GHSA. Tim, how's it going?
Hey, doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So yes, this is the Georgia High School Sports Daily. We were covering some of the great results from this weekend. What was your sense just Georgia high school basketball being on full display this weekend, or this entire last week, and just how the championships went?
The event was really, really good. GP TV's coverage was great. The Macon Coliseum staff did an amazing job helping us put it together. The crowd was really, really good. Fortunately, I guess, and unfortunate, we had such a large crowd that the fire marshal had to stop them from coming in for a little while till some could leave. But it was really a great event, and the teams competed well. Sportsmanship was amazing. So I'm really excited about this past weekend.
Yeah, and then obviously things like the three-point contest have been added, the dunk contest. We had a very thrilling, adapted sports game also. How awesome is it just to be able to have such a big schedule for this event, have those kind of extra things that Georgia's doing that some other states aren't doing? They don't have that dunk contest and three-point, but just to be able to organize it all and see it all come through.
Well, that's a credit to the people in our office and the people that around the state that help us with that. You know, it is people in our office, but there are also a lot of people from around the state that help us with different aspects of putting this on. One of the things that we heard a lot this weekend too is, hey, you know, you got a co-ed three-point, you got a girls three-point, you got a boys dunk. How about a boys three-point? You know, or young men's three-point, and so that is something we're discussing to adding to next year's tournament. So. I think it's just a big success and everybody working together.
Yep, that will be very exciting. And then I want to ask you just about the conference in Athens that's going on right now. It's the Georgia Athletic Directors Association. First, what's the GHSA's relationship been with that organizing body over the years? I know they do the Directors Cup, but what other roles do they play?
Oh, you know, they are our members, and we want to serve them. These guys that are here, these athletic directors, work closely with us. They have big roles within our organization, whether it's on the reclassification committee, on the executive committee, the board of trustees, eligibility committee. I mean, there are a lot of different places that they serve, and so to be able to be here to celebrate the athletic directors that are getting awards and the great things they have done was an honor to be able to sit and do that. And then, but just we work as a team together, you know, and the GADA supports athletic directors. And of course, as the GHSA, we work with all of them.
And then just, I guess, a side question for the GADA, obviously like athletic director from a school like Grayson or a school like Buford might be in attendance. Do you guys have like the county athletic directors also a part of this?
The district athletic directors?
Yes, sir.
So yes, so you have the district athletic directors as well as the individual school athletic directors here this weekend, and all working together. And this is really important too because it's professional development for them. There are classes for them to take and things for them to do to continue learning to, you know, help support them in the job that they're doing.
And this is the fourth and final day. So what have the first 3 days kind of been like? And does each day kind of have a different topic or area that is a focus?
There are different things. Now, of course, you know, I missed a couple of them. I was in Macon for basketball, and then I just got, you know, basketball was over Saturday night, so I was here yesterday and today. But yes, they have the Hall of Fame where they have an induction, and then they have just different meetings. Competitive balance was discussed, I think, on Saturday. You know, so different topics, different days, and then classes, different days, and different speakers that come in and speak as well on all different kinds of topics, from how to use social media, you know, to working with parents and the legal aspects. So it's a little bit of everything.
And then what are some of the things that the GHSA has maybe planned to talk about or address just to make this relationship you have with all the members, the athletic directors, kind of move forward in the future, being able to work even closer together?
So some of the stuff that we talked about is, we're looking at, our NFHS streaming, the vid swap, the work that we do with the PSR. Those are some of the things that we just discussed. There was a big competitive balance meeting that I think Jason Holcomb presented there. But then when I spoke, we did talk about competitive balance and how that affects schools with the athletic directors from the GHSA. And, GHSA is not the only athletic directors here. There are athletic directors from GAIA and GAPS Association as well. So it's the whole state.
Okay. And then when you guys do get back to those conversations where you're making the decision on competitive balance, is there a certain percentage on the vote that you guys need to get, or how will a decision be made whether or not you guys go through with that?
Well, it'll probably be later this fall, maybe in the September, 1st October time frame. Right now, we're still trying to educate the state. There are a couple of other proposals that have been thrown out. So looking at those and discussing those. So we're a ways down the road before we make a final decision, if we even feel like we can get to that point or not. We'll have to make that decision later on.
And then how big has this conference become out in Athens with all the athletic directors? I mean, you probably don't have an exact number, but in terms of the statewide attendance with all these athletic directors, some of them were probably out in Macon with you. Maybe they're able to, maybe be tough to not want to be there in Macon to see it, but they were in Athens. But I mean, how many different athletic directors are in attendance?
Well, I'll tell you this, there were quite a few of them in Macon. But when I got here Sunday, they were here too. So they were those that were in Macon that made the trip to Athens as well. But last night they announced there were over 300 athletic directors in attendance this weekend.
Then what are some of the important things that athletic directors do in terms of scheduling, making sure the travel's there? Is that sort of, in your eyes, the most important role for them?
Well, I mean, yeah, they do scheduling, they do that, but making sure that a district athletic director or a school athletic director, if you're a district, you want to make sure your school athletic directors understand everything. If you're a school, you want to make sure parents and coaches understand, but there are things like eligibility, the NIL policy, sports medicine and safety procedures, concussion protocol, a lot of those kind of activities and things that they work on besides the scheduling and the travel and those kind of things. So it's a pretty big job for them.
And then you talked a little bit about streaming. I thought it was absolutely awesome that the basketball state championships were able to be televised, broadcasted easily. People can watch it on their phone. They can watch it on TV, all sorts of stuff. I mean, how big has that been just for growing Georgia high school sports, just being able to stream these games and get those highlights out?
Oh, I think it's amazing. I think it's one of the reasons that our flag football's grown so much is, being able to be in Mercedes-Benz and have that televised. And we hope to do more of that in the future and grow that side of what we do, because I think it's important to highlight what our athletes do in the state of Georgia.
And then from a behind the scenes aspect, after this big conference, what's next just for the GHSA leadership?
Well, we've got to meet and see how, we got to discuss wrestling and how that tournament went, discuss basketball and how that went, what changes do we need to make, if any, what can we do to make them better, those kind of things. And then we're also starting to gear up for our baseball, lacrosse, track, all the different spring sports, soccer, those kind of things.
And then typically after a big event like the state championships, how long does it take to maybe sort out the gate and financial stuff from that?
That takes us a couple of weeks to get all that information together. And Robin Bullington in our office handles that. And so she'll work with GoFan and the Macon Coliseum to make sure we get that stuff together.
And then last question, Tim, it looks like riflery is coming up. Is that going to be the next state championship?
Yes, sir. We're down in Waycross. That's a beautiful facility they have down there. And that we're excited that we get to host that there. And this is a really good event for those young people.
Yes, it is. And it's been growing very exciting. We'll have that coverage. It's another new sport that's been introduced over the last decade. Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys stay dry in Athens, and we'll see you next Monday.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, so there goes Tim Scott. Big time conference going on right now. You got some meetings coming up, rivalry, and then obviously the big decision early next fall on whether or not they're going to do that competitive balance. But that is it for that segment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back on the other side.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.
A journeyman with Local 85, when you turn out, you can be hitting six figures.
Hey, I have your back, you have my back. We're gonna do this together. We're one for all for one.
College just wasn't for me. Let's look into actual career jobs that wouldn't take college, where I wouldn't, lose money and all that. Instead of losing a lot more money at the end, why not make money and make more money at the end?
What happens after you graduate? Will you go to the next level? Will people have your back in the heat of the battle? Will you still train like a champion in pursuit of greatness? You will when you become an IBEW electrician. Join our team. Visit IBEW613.org.
Welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. Right now, we will be joined by Dr. Jenny Millward, talk about some adaptive sports and the weekend. Welcome back to the show. How's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Yep. So what was your overall take just about the thrilling championship we saw in Macon? Just Houston County looks like being able to get that win once again.
Right. You got that right. A thrilling game. We had a rematch between the Clayton County Eagles and the Houston County Sharks. They met in the same competition last year. And so we were, of course, approaching this from a rematch angle. At halftime, actually, the Clayton County Eagles were ahead. And so everyone was really excited coming back from halftime to see what was going to happen. The Sharks came back, and the final score was 37-34. Such a close game and an exciting match. And we could not have asked for a better, lineup with these two teams coming back face to face at the Macon Coliseum.
Yeah, Houston County's been so dominant, and to see them trailing, I didn't really know what to think. They're able to come back. Obviously, a tough loss for the Clayton Eagles, but what just has impressed you just about the overall sportsmanship of both teams in that matchup, and just how much playing in that environment means to those kids?
It means so much to the children. I don't know if you caught the post-game interviews from the player of the game, player Cutie. He just did such an amazing job, really explaining what it means to him and what this sport does for him personally and how exciting it was for him. What I've been impressed with is I was recently able to tour the Clayton County program. They're really coming in strong. They wanted to come back this year and really try to show Houston County that they worked hard to improve their game. I think that showed. They've added a workout room specifically designed for wheelchairs. They've really rededicated and repurposed an entire space in their district for this program. Houston County had that investment as well. So what you're seeing is it really paying off for these districts to invest in this sport, invest in this program, and really show their kids how far they can go with it. I know that several of these children are interested in playing at the collegiate level when they leave our schools. And so we're going to be following that as well.
Yep, and I see right here, there's a summer wheelchair basketball camp. That'll be June 25th through 26th. We'll probably be here before we know it. Led by Coach Rob Taylor, former Paralympic coach who won in Paris. Talk a little bit about the Paralympics and how that's been maybe like a goal of the adapted sports to find some of these talented kids to pursue further dreams.
Absolutely. The Paralympic movement was so strong this summer. They received so much coverage and they were so well viewed. People are becoming more and more aware of the Paralympic opportunities, which is really filtering down at the school level. And so that's what we're seeing. And we're so excited to be able to offer such a strong coach in coming to us from Auburn with that Olympic history, with that USA team experience behind him. He was the coach for the past several Olympics. He participated in Rio. And so we're so excited to be able to really welcome him in from Auburn. We're going to use the Clayton County facility and looking forward to hosting as many kids as we can from across the state these 2 days. He's even offered an evening dinner workshop for our coaches. So we're excited to be getting this word out. It just opened today. So this is the perfect opportunity for us to start talking about it today. We opened registration. We're keeping the cost really low because we recognize people are going to be traveling in from all across the state. So it's a very affordable opportunity to have kids come in and learn from one of the greats in our nation, with Rob Taylor from Auburn and Team USA.
And then, you're mentioning Rob, I think I saw up there, 4-time medalist. What else about his resume are you familiar with that you can enlighten the audience with?
Right. So not only is he the coach for the Olympic team, but he's also the coach at Auburn. And Auburn is a program that's certainly a standout across the nation. He's going to be bringing one of his assistants with him as well. And, he wants to build up coaches. He wants to build up children and give them that hope to play once they leave school. This is a lifetime sport for many people. And so we're really hoping that he is able to continue that enthusiasm and really help our coaches and our student athletes see what they can do outside of school.
Certainly, and it obviously would be exciting to see them get that opportunity to compete for the Paralympics at a national level. But what's so, I guess, just rewarding for me when I watch these teams play or watch these events, it's a very inclusive atmosphere. Obviously, you're going to have your MVP of the game, but just having the team out there, including everyone, finding ways that they can help, rebounding, passing. They have different abilities, but talk just about the inclusive aspect of the sport.
Absolutely. So, of course, our sport, we have a complete list of eligible disabilities that can be considered for participation in our program. And so we are quite inclusive with our eligibility categories. And we look forward to serving children with multiple disabilities in our program, giving them an outlet to participate. Our students with disabilities oftentimes are sidelined. That's something we talk about. And we want to bring them off the sidelines and into the game. That's what we say. And we're looking forward to expanding that. I'd love to be able to share that we have a grant that we're looking to bring in 4 new school districts, 4 new teams in the coming year. And so I want to promote that as much as I can right now. We're trying to do a lot of outreach. We have a grant that will cover most of the startup costs for a school district. The wheelchairs are included in that, uniforms are included in that, as well as the equipment. And so we are looking forward to talking to schools that are interested. We can't wait to add some teams to our competition. We currently are supporting 12 school districts across the state, and we want to broaden that. We want to bring in more kids and more teams to this competition.
Certainly, and yeah, so 12 districts so far. We know DeKalb has one, obviously Clayton, Houston County,
Henry,
Gwinnett Heat.
Right, Henry County Storm. They brought their JV team. We recently had our JV championship last weekend, and it was between Henry County and Peach County, which was a great matchup as well. Byron Middle School hosted that for us and had the JV state championship.
Right. Yeah. So, and then you guys obviously have the other sports year round. You got the football's been increasing in popularity, handball, track and field. So you got plenty more.
Right.
Well, Jenny, thank you so much for coming on the show, talking about it. We look forward to all the work you guys are doing, and hopefully people can go. Where can they find that grant information?
So they can come to our website. If they just Google AAASP, they'll find us.
All right, certainly. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. Congrats to both of those teams and another great season.
Thank you.
All right, well, don't go anywhere. We will be back on the other side to talk about our championship picks and the BSN Weekend Recap.
One, two, three. 1, 2.
Welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. I'm joined now by Hayden Gilbert, Max Wyborski, and Najee Wilkins. We're going to look at our predictions from before the playoffs started, who we picked on the boys' side for each classification. We'll recap some of these results. Najee, welcome on. Let's see how we all did. I got to say, though, I'm pretty happy. I think I went 4 of 8. I've come a long way. There's a time in school once where I got a 36% on a true-false test. So I'll take 50% any day. All right, so you see Class 6A, Wheeler, I got that one right. I thought it was a pretty safe pick the way they're playing. Hayden went with Grayson, Najee, and Max with the Indians. What did you guys just think about your picks? Do you feel like maybe they didn't play their best, they could have gotten it done, or were you more impressed with what Newton was able to do?
I mean, I think more than anything with the Grayson pick, it was just that Wheeler was playing the best basketball at the best time. By the time we got to the semifinals with them and Grayson played again, they were just playing the best basketball in the state.
That's right. And then Najee, obviously, a lot of our picks were all on that same side of the bracket with McEachern, Grayson, Wheeler. What did you just think of the fact that Wheeler had to pretty much go through all those teams to be able to get to the top?
It made them stronger. You know, like as Hayden mentioned, the best basketball they were playing at the right time. And when you play that gauntlet of a schedule, right, City of Palms, you play a national schedule, and then when you go against the likes of a Grayson team you faced earlier in the year, you feel more comfortable. So them having to go through that bracket, beat obviously Norcross, right, having to go and beat a Grayson, that made them stronger. So when they faced that adversity in the championship game against Newton, they were prepared, they were ready for it.
That's right. All right, let's go to 5A. I did not get this one right. I picked Woodward. Tri-Cities got that win 66-55. Max, you were the only one to pick Tri-Cities. They looked fantastic. What just impressed you just about that pick and how they handled business all season?
I mean, with the trio they have, and Trey Keith and Jalen Winfield and Doran as well, I mean, these guys were playing the right, like you said before with, Wheeler, playing good basketball at the right time, and with Jalen Wingfield, it's just hard to stop. I mean, 20 points and 19 rebounds with your big players coming up when you need them most in the state championship, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yep, and Najee, you saw Tri-Cities play in person this year, right?
Yeah, I did. I mean, they are night and day from when I seen them. They're a completely different team, more together, sharing the basketball. And like I told you, Craig, I was impressed with the way Jalen Wingfield took, advantage of the matchup against Caleb Wilson. Actually went out and guarded him. You don't always see superstars do that. But now next year they bring back a Trey Keith. They bring back, obviously, a Jalen Wingfield, and they're going to fill out the rest of the lineup. A great win for them. Certainly.
All right, let's go to 4A real quick. Najee with Pace Academy. We all picked North Oconee. I do feel kind of bad, though, because I flip-flopped on this one, but I'll take it. North Oconee, so that gives, looks like Max and I have 2. Hayden picks one up right there, but congratulations to North Oconee. Let's jump to 3A real quick before we run out of time. I think we all picked Cedar Grove except Hayden. Sandy Creek, great pick, Hayden. What do you think just of how close that game was and what Sandy Creek proved winning that third straight?
That was just a dogfight. Like, you looked at those two teams, 39-38. Everything about that game was just defensive, hard fought, really just a nasty game that really either team could have come out on top, but Sandy Creek ended up coming out on top.
Yep, I feel like we provided that bulletin board material except Hayden getting it right, going with the Patriots. All right, let's go to Class 2A. None of us got that one right. That was Butler, correct? Yeah, Butler over Union County. I think this was, Najee had South Atlanta. They went to the Sweet 16. My pick, Carver Columbus and everyone else's, they lost in the Final Four to Butler. All right, so no points there for any of us. Let's go to Class A Division 1. This one, Southwest, they were runner-up to Best Academy. Who did Najee pick on that one? I had Putnam County. Najee, do you remember who you picked? Was that Best?
I think it is.
Okay, so you got that one right. That was a great pick. Best Academy wearing the number 15 seed all the way to the state title. Huge victory for them. I think they surprised a lot of us, and obviously, our rankings, they'll be number 1 for sure. Let's go to Class A Division 2. Savannah getting the win over McIntosh County Academy. We're split on this one. Myself and Max got that right. You see the Blue Jackets right there. And then I believe we all got the private one correct, with Holy Innocents sweeping right there. So I think Max and I had 4.
4 out of 8.
4 out of 8.
Not
3,
bad.
but give you guys credit. You guys picked the ones in those lower classifications. Best academy, that might be the best pick, Najee.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that was a tough one, but I believed in the Michael twins. We seen them a year ago in the Corkell Dave Hunter Classic, and they transferred over from Douglas, Atlanta, and it's had a really good backcourt, and then the front court players were phenomenal as well, and ended up leading them to a state championship.
And then, yeah, we'll spend some more time this week recapping the matchups, but Najee, we'll go to each of us. What player kind of impressed you the most, just what you were able to see with him?
I think it's a tie for me. I got to go Jalen Wingfield, and I got to go Justin Wise. I've seen him play before on the AAU circuit, but what he did in that elite shot making, that was something to behold. And Jalen Wingfield, a 2020 game in the state championship, pretty much, this is different.
Max Hayden?
I think I looked at Caleb Wilson, and I knew he was great, but what he was able to do and just be, he looked like a man among boys out there.
Yeah.
I would say Caleb Wilson. There's no wrong answer. Caleb Wilson, Justin Wise, Jalen Wingfield, and also the Pace Academy boys as well, Eric Chatfield and Chandler Bing.
For sure. And yeah, with Caleb Wilson, I mean, I think he'll be great at the next level, but in terms of dominating in high school, the combination of size and athleticism, it was just impossible to stop.
Looked like he was playing a different game.
He did it all season long. Just the off the backboard dunks in the state championship. You don't see that every once in a while, but that's it for today's show. Please, everyone, go to scoreatl.com. We have plenty of coverage right there. We'll be back here tomorrow with another lineup of fantastic guests, and we'll see you then.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off. Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
Beginning the morning you opened your eyes, we spent every waking moment preparing you for the day you'd leave our nest. Whether it's driving to practice or helping with homework, it's all prepared you for, what am I going to be when I grow up? Will you be ready?
After much thought, I made my decision to take my talents to the IBEW Local 613.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is not simply a job, it's a career. Visit IBEW613.org to begin a new future today.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Are you interested in becoming a deputy or a jailer? The Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office is hiring and looking for individuals passionate about protecting and serving their community. If you are 18 years or older, join our team by visiting gogcso.com for more information. Gwinnett County, together we can make a difference.